In the year 2000, Shaquille O'Neal led the league in field goal percentage. He averaged 29 points per game and 13 rebounds. I want somebody to tell me what version of Michael Jordan or LeBron James would have been the number one option playing alongside that Shaquille O'Neal. Okay? I want you to tell me what year LeBron James or Michael Jordan would have been the number one. So if you got that player alongside 2000 Shaq, which one of those, which year would you have taken the ball out of Shaquille O'Neal's hand and made that player, LeBron or Michael, the number one option? Because you understand, both LeBron and Michael have the luxury of playing without dominant centers, which means LeBron can go to the rim pretty much whenever he wants, and Michael can do the same or hit that mid range, back down in the post and hit that mid range, because the center is away from the basket. Okay? I want you to tell me which version of LeBron James or Michael Jordan would have been the number one option playing alongside the league leader in field goal percentage. By the way, Shaquille O'Neal led the league in field goal percentage 10 times. He led the league in effective field goal percentage 8 times. Okay? Now, is this an argument that Shaq was a better player than Kobe? No. I have said that Kobe became the best player on that team when Shaq failed to lead his team to the Western Conference Finals, past the Blazers. Okay? There are other components to a game, to a championship team, other than just simply a great stat line. Okay? You have to be able to hit free throws. Okay? But what I'm saying is that for the first 40 minutes of the game, there is not a more reliable option than dumping the ball down to Shaq. Tell me what version of Michael Jordan or what version of LeBron James would have been a better option. LeBron never led the league in field goal percentage. Neither did Michael. Okay? Now, before you tell me that 2013 and 2014 LeBron or 1987 Michael Jordan would have been the number one option, let me remind you, 1987 Michael Jordan shot 48% from the field. You really believe that? You really believe that if you've got 37 point per game scoring Michael Jordan, who couldn't lead his team to a winning record, okay, you're going to take the ball out of Shaq's hands and give the ball to Michael Jordan and let him shoot 28 shots a game? That's what you're doing. Okay? Let me also remind you, Kobe was not in his mid-20s when he was playing with prime Shaquille O'Neal. Kobe was 21, 22, and 23 years old. So, I want you to tell me that with a straight face, that 23-year-old Michael Jordan, 23-year-old LeBron James would have been the number one option playing alongside prime Shaq. I want you to tell me that with a straight face. Like you really believe it. See, even if we're talking about 2014 LeBron, who shot 56% from the field, okay? The problem is you can get 95% of LeBron's value in either 2000 or in 2014. You can get that value with Kevin Durant. In the year 2000, Grant Hill went for 25, 6, and 5. Tracy McGrady. You can replace LeBron's value. It's a lot of people, a lot of players in NBA history would be willing to mostly play on that perimeter and hit threes because they've got a dominant center down low, drawing double teams, and presumably creating open shots for him from the perimeter. So a lot of people that would have done that. But who do you replace Shaq with? The second best center in the league was Alonzo Mourning. Okay? Neither of those players would have been the number one option playing along Shaq. Their careers would have followed Kobe's just the same. And in fact, neither of them would have been as successful as Kobe was. Because neither of them had the perimeter game Kobe had. Okay? Now, yes, LeBron shot 40% from 3. Okay? In a much more offensive period. And playing alongside one of the greatest and I believe actually 2 of the greatest three-point shooters in NBA history. Okay? Had a lot of spacing. Okay? So, no, neither of those players would have been able to function playing alongside dominant 2000 to 2002 Shaquille O'Neal. They would not have been the number one option throughout the game. They would not have been. In both of those cases, any coach would have told Michael Jordan and LeBron James to handle the ball, stand out on the perimeter, and wait for Shaq to throw him the ball. And that means they would not have scored 30 points a game, winning the scoring title, or, even 33, 37 points per game like MJ. That wouldn't have happened. If you've got prime Shaq on the floor, and Shaq isn't your number one option, then what are you going to do with him? Shaq ain't no stretch 3, no stretch center. You can't. What are you going to do? Pull him away from the basket? What do you do with him? And so it becomes a balance of who's going to give you the best shot. Well, I mean, even if we're talking about the very best LeBron has ever been, you're still talking about a higher percentage shot if you give the ball to Shaq. So you'd rather take 90% of LeBron and 100% of Shaq, and then you have LeBron take over at the end of the game. Or, like I said, trade for someone else than to lose Shaq. Okay? I am sick of people diminishing Kobe's first 3 championships with this narrative, oh, well, Shaq carried him. Shaq carried. Shaq would have carried anybody. You see, if you're gonna criticize Kobe for not winning the Finals MVP the first 3 years with Shaq, essentially because he wasn't the number one option. Okay. What you're essentially saying is that Kobe should not have prioritized winning championships, and instead prioritize being the statistical leader on every one of his teams. Okay? Because let's just say I agree that Michael Jordan was the best player in the league for the vast majority of his 15 seasons in the league. He certainly wasn't the best player in the league his first 3 years. Or let's say his first 2. He certainly wasn't. So if he's drafted to Boston, magically, let's say he's drafted to Boston in 1984, 1984-85 season, or Philly, who's gonna be the number one option, Larry Bird or Michael Jordan? You taking the ball out of Moses Malone's hand and giving it to Michael Jordan? Okay? That team would have won the championship. Okay? And Mike would have a chip wherein he was, quote, carried by Larry Bird, or, quote, carried by Moses Malone. So, as long as a player is playing at an all-NBA level, as I tried to explain to FYF Sports, you're not being carried. Okay? The only somebody I see being the number one option over Shaquille O'Neal in that prime Shaquille would have been another center. And if you had Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you wouldn't sign Shaq. But no wing player, not Magic Johnson, not Larry Bird, nobody would have been the number one option, meaning would have taken more shots, okay, playing alongside a prime Shaquille O'Neal, because for the first 40 minutes of the game, there's not a better option than dumping the ball down to Shaq. That's going to get you to about the second round of the playoffs in and of itself. Now, when you compare Shaq to the greatest players in NBA history, you have to take that into consideration. Okay, the fact that his inability to make free throws means he can't get past the second, or he can't get to the championship round or win the finals. Okay, by himself, he can't do it. There's this massive weakness in his game. But that doesn't take away from the fact that for the first 40 minutes of the game, in other words, until the other team, who's probably been saving up their fouls, until they start fouling them and putting them on the line, there's not a better option than giving the ball to Shaq. Okay? If Shaq is shooting close to 60% from the field, and he actually did shoot 60% from the field, that means he's averaging 1 point. You can average 1.2 points per possession by just dumping it down to Shaq. When you foul him, you drop that 1.2 points per possession down to 1 point per possession, because he's going to go to the free throw line and he's going to miss one of the 2 free throws. Okay? You can catch up if you're the opposing team. That was his weakness. Okay? And it was enough of a weakness to where you can't really say he was the best player on the team when his teammate is Kobe Bryant. But for the first 40 minutes of the game, no. You dumped the ball down. The Lakers did it right. They did it right. They won their 3 championships. The 2 players outgrew each other, went their separate ways, and we know what happened in retrospect. Okay? But no player in NBA history would have been a better number one option than than prime Shaquille O'Neal. Nobody.